Okay.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. If this is your first time, I'm Elsie and this is
Tony,
okay. What are we talking about today, Tony?
I think we're talking about one of your favorite subjects, which is travel.
It is one of my favorite subjects.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I quite like to travel. Do you like to travel?
Well, not so desperately, not as much as you, I'll be honest, which is good.
Which is good. Why?
Well, yeah, because if you got two people who just feel the same way about something, well, what kind of a discussion can they really have? You know?
Oh, that's what you're talking in terms of, because like we're on like the opposite sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any reason why you don't like to travel?
I don't. Well, it depends as to how content you are where you are. It's not that I have a sort of a real lack of interest in other human beings or cultures or whatever, but yeah, if you feel quite happy where you are, now someone would say maybe you're comfortable, you're just being lazy, you know. And if that's the case, well, obviously that's a negative. But the other side is it being.
So it's none of that for you. You're not just being lazy.
I hope I'm not just being lazy, because sometimes we can be lazy, but we don't want to confront it, so we dress it up as something else, as happens. But yeah, some people have more interest in some things. I mean, think of other areas which enthuse people. Football, for example. Some people are absolute passionate football fans.
Yeah.
Or music fans.
Yeah.
Or any other kind of fan. Others people, well, yeah, okay. They like it to a certain extent, or sometimes absolutely do not like it.
Yeah.
And this is all part of the wonderful thing about human beings being different, you know?
Yeah. It is. It is actually.
I mean, if for example, using the talk about travel, if everybody wanted to travel, nobody would stay at home. And if everybody stayed at home, you'd have no travelers. I mean, so, you know.
We need some people at home and we need some people on the plane, else the pilots won't have any job.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I like to travel not because I'm very, too enthusiastic or anything, but I do like to see new places. And in my experience with travel, it's just a whole new world out there, and you don't even need to go too far. Like say we're in England, like you don't even need to go to Wales or Northern Ireland. You just need to still be in England. And even in Newcastle, like say in your little area where you live, like, you know, if you moved away from, like, you get to realize it's just it's a whole new world. And then the further you move away, there's just like so much.
My point exactly. So why do I need to go?
you don't like different things. But to be fair, like in my little experience with like traveling outside of like my home country, which is Ghana, and then like moving to England, or traveling outside of England, like you get to see that people just behave differently, and there's just so much to learn from from people, and not just people. I'll give you an example. The last time I traveled was to Berlin to see my brother. And like I learned so much on that trip. Like I got to realize that me and my brother are totally different people, and even though we lived in the same house all our lives, we never actually got to realize that we were different people. So can you imagine, I went there with a whole itinerary, like, oh, today we're going to do this and that and that and that, and he was like, yeah, okay, cool, we will do that. And then on one of the days I was supposed to go hiking, and he said, yeah, totally, I'll go with you, because on most of the trains they speak German. And then there are times when they switch platforms, and then if you don't understand German, you end up on a different train. So he kept going everywhere with me. So we're going hiking, and he was like on board and everything. So we got on, so this time we got on a bus. And then we got to the place, and it was a hiking place, so it was a whole like vast land of forests, like thick forest,
Right.
but with road in the middle. So I was like, yeah, okay, so this is the place. And then he said, I don't know where I'm going into that forest. And I was like, wait, no, I told you that this is what we're doing, and you said totally you were going with me. He video called my dad and then flipped the camera towards the forest and then told my dad, oh, look at where your daughter is trying to kill herself. And then
He was scared of the forest.
he was, because he googled, and then he found out that there were boars in the forest. But also it was the middle of summer and there were so many people there. So I'm like, if it was so dangerous, then why there's so many people there? And we fought so much on that trip. By the end of the trip, it taught me to learn tolerance, basically, because I realized that the fact that I want to keep seeing new things, that's not who my brother is. He just wants to be in his room. So
Well, you shouldn't have any expense visiting him. If you should just set up a Zoom call and you're all right.
I know.
Oh, good love.
No. Yeah.
I love that. Are you going to bring me into that forest? No.
Yeah.
way.
Oh, he was like truly terrified. Like even another time on a boat trip, he hates water because he's not a very good swimmer, and I'm not either. But I'm still like very. So we got on the boat, and then so the guy's giving us instructions, and then he was like, well, why are you giving us instructions? Aren't you coming with us? And the guy was like, no,
it was a safety instructions in case.
Yeah. And he said, no, it's it's just both of you go out onto the river, and then and it was an electric boat, so it wasn't that dangerous, and it was a river, not a sea, so it's not very turbulent. It was just, but yeah, we're very different, but still tolerate each other.
Well,
somehow.
there we go. I mean, I'm trying to think, when your brother's reaction to that forest, I'm thinking of a time when I was, gosh, how old was I? I must have been 6, and my niece Margaret, my eldest sister's daughter, she would have been 3, I think.
Yeah.
And Mari, my eldest sister, she took us to a zoo in London, Chessington Zoo.
Yeah.
And at that time, all animals were kept in cages. There wasn't like these free sort of, like almost like safari park type things where they keep animals now.
Yeah.
It was
Like
all in
free-
cages.
Okay, cages.
Yeah, just
okay.
cages. So you're looking
Okay.
at the animal in a cage. And I remember looking at this tiger in a cage. And apparently I turned round to my sister and said with such feeling, Mari, have you brought your children here to be eaten by a tiger? And this story remained, and it was like all the time in the family, God.
No, yeah.
We brought you to be eaten by a tiger.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so I can relate to your brother's horror about the forest. I don't know what could be in there. So.
I know, but like, okay, funny enough, like when he showed my dad the video, it's like being on the other end of the call and then just seeing a really, really thick forest. But then if you've gone hiking before, when you're like on the outside of the hiking trail, you literally just see a whole forest thing until you actually enter and then you see, oh, it's a trail and there are human beings walking on it. But yeah, like, well, it's always an experience, and sometimes it's a bitter experience when you travel, but then there's always something to learn. Like like before I went to Berlin, I didn't know that trains split, but they do, even in the UK, but I have never experienced it before.
So you need to make sure you're on the right half.
I had never experienced it before, so on a train, like I went outside the city, so I'm going back to Berlin. Then I was on the train and I asked the lady, oh, are you going to Berlin? And then she said, no, I'm going to Hamburg. And I'm like, no, Hamburg is on another side of the town, what? So she said, if you're going to Berlin, you need to be on the other side of the train. And I'm like, how do I get on the other side? How do I get on the other side of the train? And she said, just walk through the train.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
She
how? Like,
should have said go and across the room.
no, I
Like
was
they do in the films.
I was panicking because it was in the evening. It was like, I'm talking 12 a.m.
Yeah.
And she was confused. I was confused because basically she's German, and then she was speaking the little English she knew,
Yeah.
and she felt like what she was saying was as simple as ABC. It's like, and it would be simple if you knew that trains split. But I didn't know.
Oh, that's right. You want to
So I was just like, am I on the wrong train? What do I do?
It's a Harry Potter train. Half of it goes here, half of it goes.
And then, so yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I ended up on that side, and yeah, that's how I found out that train
Well, there you go,
split.
you see.
Found out the very hard way. Yeah. Well, have you had any, like, interesting experiences with traveling? Like anything, like more like bad experience? Because normally when people say, oh, it's normally a happy experience, but sometimes people have like very awful experiences.
Well,
in
I
travel.
mean, as far as a memorable experience, I won't say it wasn't necessarily awful, but it was certainly memorable. First time I went, which is another story, went on a treasure hunt to India.
Yeah.
My gosh, this was 1972. Wow, many, many years ago.
Yeah.
And we got it with the same elder sister, the one that took us to the zoo, because she was fluent in.
I was with her in zoos.
Yeah. And well, she'd been born in India, as most of my family
Yeah.
was. Well, actually, all my family was. I was the one born in this country. That's another
Yeah.
story. So they'd come up with 2 languages, 2 cultures, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, we landed in what was called Bombay, then it's Mumbai now.
Mm-hmm.
And we got, we are very much on a budget. So we travelled across to Delhi, the capital,
Mm-hmm.
on a train. And there was a choice of tickets. There was 3 classes.
Okay.
So we took the cheapest, which was 3rd class, and the price for that was about 30 rupees, which
Mhm.
was the rate we'd exchanged our pounds for. So 30 rupees to the pound. We're travelling near enough 1,000 miles,
Mm-hmm.
1,400 kilometres
On
thereabouts
£1?
for a pound.
Yeah.
And when you got into the carriage, you knew why. It was wooden slat seats, just like a park bench.
Yeah.
And at some point, obviously, on a 1,000-mile trip, 24 hours,
Yeah.
you need to use the toilet. So
Yeah.
I go to use the toilet, and I'm quite surprised to find there's 2 sort of wooden things
Yeah.
where you could put your feet.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you'd want to sit on it, but you put your
No,
feet
you
either
just-
side like that,
You
and
squat
there was
or
a hole.
something.
And the hole was straight onto the track, and you could see the track zzz, whizzing high underneath you. And
I'm sure that was an experience.
oh my gosh, that was quite.
See, this is why I love to travel, because you see
Well, you
different.
get the different experiences.
You
That's
do, definitely.
yeah. I
Yeah.
must admit, it was a bit of a culture shock to me. It was,
Yeah.
but there you go. But yeah, 1,000 miles for a quid. I mean, you couldn't whinge of that for a
Yeah.
price. But
Yeah.
that was quite odd seeing that the railway track moving underneath the car.
Yeah.
So, and really fast, you can imagine, because the train was going at a good speed. 24 hours speed at 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Good space. But yeah, travel. I mean, it's how should you say? Well, you learn things by travel,
You
sure.
do,
But then
definitely.
you learn things by
Being where you are as well.
you learn things by thinking. You learn things by reading.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
now we learn things off the internet.
Internet,
God help
yeah.
us.
You need
but,
to be careful with that, though, because there's all sorts
But
of
there's
things
so
on the
many
internet.
different- Yeah, so many
Yeah.
different ways of
Of learning, yeah.
and taking things in, and of course, of focusing on what we might be interested in. You know, but
Yeah.
But but life itself is, we talk about travel. Life itself is a journey.
Yeah.
Really, it's a journey we're all on.
Like, we're all on our own journeys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there are journeys, if you like. They may be different. This person is training to be a doctor. That person is doing this person doing the other. And we've all had the things which don't alter our journey is there's a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
We've all experienced, well, I don't say we've experienced a beginning,
but it was there.
We're probably a bit young to remember it. Even though, unless we were real child prodigies, you know. Hello world, I'm here. I'm ready to be assigned my gender. But it's we've had the beginning. Yeah. And of course, we know as sensible people, or even non-sensible people, we know there's an end as well. We're not we're certainly not sure as to when the end's coming, but most of us live our lives as though there isn't going to be an end, and there will be an end to this dimension of it anyway. Yeah. Some of us may believe that there's a life to come. A lot of people say, "Oh, I don't know. I'm not bothered." And it's rather a shame, really, I think, when people say that, because if there's nothing to come, if you're absolutely sure there's nothing to come, then when you're gone, that's the end of the journey, full stop. Okay, it makes sense not to waste any time on it. But if you're not absolutely sure that that is the case, then it would make it a bit more sense to spend a bit of time, just the way you would check out a holiday destination in advance. Have there been any good reviews on TripAdvisor? How many people stayed there?
Yeah, that's so funny that you say that, because my dad has the same outlook on, on the faith and Christianity and afterlife, and the fact that the world doesn't end here. So he would say, no, I totally 100% believe that there is an afterlife. The journey doesn't end here. We're sent here by a creator, and then when we finish, we're going back to him, right?
Right.
But he would continue with, for those who are not sure, right? Wouldn't it make more sense to at least, what would it take for you to, because
it would be for you to do what?
For you to actually behave like there was an afterlife. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, how pathetic it would be if you get there and there is actually an afterlife. But there's nothing to lose if you,
your dad's echoing what's known really as Pascal's wager. He said exactly the same thing, that if there wasn't anything there, and you've lived all your life as though there was, fine, you aren't going to regret it, you aren't going to have any consciousness, you're gone.
No, because you're gone.
You're gone. You're gone. But if there was, then you might feel a little bit sick that, why didn't I pay a bit of attention?
And you had all the
this?
chance.
I had all these chances and I didn't, so there we go.
Yeah.
But that's what moves. But that's the big journey, the big travel journey, which we're all on. Yeah. And we can do our other journeys in the meantime. And I feel that on this journey, in this dimension, we should do something which inspires us, enthuses us, and if we can help somebody else along that way as well, why not?
Yeah.
Although, I mean, I knew somebody once who said it costs you nothing to be unpleasant, why not? That was his take on things, you know. It was true.
Well,
but
I mean, he wasn't lying,
it feels nicer to be pleasant than not.
It does feel nicer to be pleasant, yeah.
So to all the people pleasant and unpleasant, I think we've just about there this week.
Yeah, we've come to the end of our program. And just in case you haven't noticed, this was supposed to be a very, very, very casual conversation. But Tony, at the end of the day, decided to make it deep. But we still appreciate it, because those are some very important thoughts. So we've come to the end of the program, and if you've listened to this point, I'm sure you're enjoying it. Hopefully you are. So kindly like, comment, subscribe,
share,
and until next time, it's bye for now.
Bye.
If you like this video, kindly like, comment, and subscribe. You can also find us on other social media platforms, on Twitter at Talk with Tony and on Instagram at talkwithtony.live. Don't forget, live, laugh, and most importantly, love. Watch out for the next video. It's bye for now.